Welcome to Ponytails and Pep Talks, the podcast where blowouts, breakdowns, and breakthroughs are a weekly discussion. I'm your host, ReJeania. For over 3 decades, I've been behind the salon chair as a stylist, an owner, and yes, your favorite unlicensed therapist. I have heard it all. The tears, the triumphs, the you won't believe what just happened stories from courageous women overcoming incredible obstacles. So let's meet one of them right now on Ponytails and Pep Talks. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ponytails and Pep Talks. I'm your host, ReJeania. Today we are doing our segment, Alicia's Healing Journey, Braving the Unknown. Welcome back, Alicia. Refresh our listeners about your diagnosis and what's going on.
Oh gosh, where do I begin with that one?
I know. Somewhere in the beginning.
Basically, I have SMA Syndrome, Mesenteric Artery Syndrome.
Yes. Which means, what if, somebody's asking, well, what the heck does that mean? Because none of those letters make sense to probably most people because, for one, only 0.1 to 0.3 people in the United States have this. It is rare. Even though we're learning more people that have this, it's still rare and still unknown. So what's a little bit about what's going on that they have decided this is what it is?
So basically, the superior artery is pressing against my small intestine, causing a compression. So when I try to digest food, it gets stuck, or it takes a really long time to go down. So that, in turn, causes a lot of other stomach issues that we've recently found out I had as well.
Right. So we originally, of course, found out somewhere in, you were a teenager, around 15 or so, the ulcers in the stomach, across the top of the stomach, the lining, and somewhere in there started a different food journey for you. You started eating better. We ate pretty good anyway, but you had to roll out some things. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, things started drastically changing with you. What happened then?
That was when I had to stop eating meat. So basically, I was always someone that ate meat daily and, grilled steaks and ribs on the weekends. And then all of a sudden I ate a steak one day and it came back up. And I didn't know if maybe it was just a bad piece of steak that day or what really had happened. But then I ate something else and that came back up too. And I went and got a bunch of tests done and they basically said nothing's wrong. Maybe your body just doesn't want you to digest meat anymore. You're getting older and things could be changing and, let's try pescatarian or vegan. And I ended up doing that, felt a lot better. And then somewhere down that line too, probably about maybe last year, a year before,
over a year and a half,
about 2 years now. And slowly things started not feeling the same again. And that's when we ended up finding everything else. So.
Right. So even changing your diet, which a lot of people, we always just assume if I change my diet, everything's going to be great. Everything's going to work. But sometimes that's not the case. And that was not the case in your situation. I want people to realize that sometimes it's okay to reach out to specialists when you think not everything feels right and you don't even know why. Sometimes just keep reaching out. We did all the right things. She did all the right things. We contacted doctors. We went through a lot of tests, changed your eating completely. And then, like you said, about a year and a half ago, things just kind of went crazy again. Went to the emergency room and actually emergency room doc in a very tiny little town, said, I think you might have this. So that started the journey on track to what we're doing. We've now found the doctor in Los Angeles, Dr. Shuid. There are several top specialists in this field, and he's one of the very top in this field. And we've been talking with him. As a matter of fact, we had a surgery scheduled for April 14th. But what changed that and what tests did you have to go through at that point?
So gastroparesis is something that mimics SMAS a lot of the times. So he wanted to be sure before we did surgery that we ruled that one out. So I had 2 different tests done. One was a 4-hour emptying scan, and then the other one was the barium test. Both of those showed still a compression at the top as well as positive for gastroparesis. So then my next conversation with him was, well, you either severely have the one or you have both. So then we went and got some Botox done inside of my polaris muscle. Not the fun Botox you would think of. This one actually relaxes, doesn't freeze, relaxes that muscle to help food go back through. So basically at this point, what was happening is I would eat something and the longer it took to digest, the longer it took. So even something that would normally take a person 5 hours to digest, it was 10 for me. So my dinner wouldn't get digested until about 17 plus hours later.
Yes, you look like a fairy princess. It's the most hilarious, hard to get into gown I've ever seen in my life.
Hilarious.
Such pretty socks. You get purple and yellow. Yay. So we're going to get our endoscopy done today with Botox going into the intestines to help with the gastroparesis.
Fun.
Yay.
They both say left. So the Botox helped a little bit. I've done that. And now we're just at the point where, okay, everything I've done is still showing there's a compression at the top, which would be for the SMAS. And now recently there's a small hernia developing as well. So now we're just at the point where, all right, it's time to make the move on surgery.
It is. And, it's amazing how one thing kind of keeps seeming to lead into another. But part of that is because we're finding out different things that have actually been going on in your body. Explain to them the size of a normal stomach and what your stomach looks like with all the scans.
So when we did those things, the gastroparesis, and then also found out that I had gastroparesis, which the gastroparesis means that my stomach sits really far down. It's down by my pelvis. So a normal stomach probably is about like this, kind of sits over to the side and a little up higher, whereas mine looks like a big J. So the bottom of my stomach is pretty big, and then the esophagus is elongated. So yeah, it looks like a big J and sits really far down by my pelvis. So that's why when I eat, I make a joke about it and say I look pregnant because of where my stomach sits, it gives that curve right around that area like it would look if you were pregnant. So if I eat too much, I look about 3 months pregnant.
Right.
And in turn have new baggy clothes I like to wear when I go eating.
Very true. And because the thing is, we all, as women, whenever we eat, everything expands. I don't care what it is. But for just regular people eating without this diagnosis, ours goes away in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. So yours can stay there for 10 hours.
Or sometimes the next day.
Yeah. And still look that way. So what are we hoping to accomplish with the surgery? What is the plan for when we go in there? What's he going to do? What's it going to help?
So basically he's going to fix the SMAS and the hernia. So everything's going to be rearranged to where the compression will no longer be there again. And in hopes that it will fix other things back where they should go in place. If it does not, we might have to look at another surgery as well. But we are going to cross our fingers and say our prayers for that one.
Yeah, so basically the surgery, from what I understand it to be, is that they will go in and remove the gallbladder, right? They're going to surgically move the stomach over, reroute all of the intestines, because part of what's going on is the artery from the heart and the mesenteric artery are kind of crossing over and just squishing out that small intestines. So that will relieve the pressure off of that. And then by rerouting, hopefully then that'll start healing from the inside, of course. And the hiatal hernia, he said he could just take care of that along with the way. One of the issues that you've had for just so many years is just an excessive amount of acid. Again, these are some things that people will fix by diet or what they're eating and things like that. But what we've discovered also is sometimes our bodies just produce too much. And that's what's happening with yours because of all of the diet changes and everything that you've done to cut that acid out. It's still,
It hasn't mattered.
it hasn't mattered.
It's just
Yeah.
over it. And I was telling you earlier, you know, when I was it 15 or 16? Because I said it wrong. I had my first endoscopy and we found all the ulcers going in my esophagus and stomach. That GI doctor told me, your stomach just naturally produces too much acid and you're going to battle this your whole life.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, and he's right because I still am.
That's it. So how long is the surgery supposed to take?
I think he said about for the initial SMA surgery and the hernia, about 3.5 hours.
Yeah, he said whenever he added the hiatal hernia,
it was another
4 hours or so, yeah, to that, and possibly 5 hours by the time it was completed. However, what is our hospital stay going to be?
7 days.
Yeah, so 7 to 8 days. Just
another week in Cali.
Yeah, and another week after that. This will not be a vacation, sadly.
We will not be shopping.
We did that last year. We went shopping and went to California and had a great time. So this time we'll be going back, and hopefully the great time will be that after we get done, she's going to somewhat be able to eat like a normal person.
Hopefully I will be on a feeding tube and a PICC line for a good 8 weeks.
8 weeks. So. Yeah, exactly. So at this point, we have no other tests. How many tests do you think you've done so far just in the last year and a half?
Every Monday since January, leading up to now.
I guess so. Every Monday, you've either been in the doctor's office or in a test of some kind.
Or taking pills or doing a spray or...
Right.
I'm done with it.
Right. Trying to rule out anything and everything. Thankfully, one of the things that makes the doctor that we've chosen, Dr. Shued, so wonderful is that he's making sure to rule out absolutely anything that could be something else, or make sure that certain things are fixed so that whenever we go into the surgery, that it'll be a lot better success rate.
Yeah.
So we are on a Facebook page with other people that have the same thing, and it does seem like one situation kind of turns into another. What have you seen with the ones that have had this surgery, what their outcome has been?
Most people do pretty good. There are some times where they've had other issues along with that, but that's usually because they already had multiple things, and they all can't be addressed at one time.
Right.
Like he had told us earlier.
Yeah.
Like it's, we can't go in and do everything at one time. It might cause another issue. Right. So it has to be step by step. So right now, as far as my concern, all we know is my stomach being so low and extra large, which explains why I can eat a lot. And then the SMAS. So hopefully, I'm sure something else might pop up in there, but I'm hoping that most part it'll be okay.
Hopefully so. So we are just now waiting for the
surgery date.
Or whatever, to call us back to give us that specific date. At that time, we will be traveling to Los Angeles a week, at least in the hospital, a week afterwards. And then after another 8 weeks, because of all the tubes and things that are, going to be in there, we'll be making a trip back and having those removed and make sure that everything has gone as well as possible. I know you're super ready for this surgery.
I am. It's both, I'm ready for it and I'm nervous at the same time. Nervous because it's such a big surgery.
Right.
But also I'm just ready to get it done with and hopefully start just feeling better and being able to eat whatever I want to get.
That's it. And because there's also the nutrition side, you're because it's the small intestines being, kind of blocked and cut off and smushed and, different things, your body's not absorbing the nutrients like it's supposed to.
Yeah, I'm tired a lot faster, trying to get myself up in the mornings to attempt to work out, which I really can't do right now that much anyway, just because, they want me to keep the weight that I have on. And I have always been someone that worked out daily. And so, it's a mental toll when you can't work out and your clothes don't fit. And, but they want that. So you can't really do anything about it. So I am looking forward to going back to a little bit of normalcy for me.
That's true. And all of that also is one of the reasons that you going into this, you seem to be really a lot healthier than some of the other ones that by the time they found it, their bodies were just wasting away. And we're very fortunate that this small town doctor made a suggestion and found this while you are still reasonably healthy. So we're excited about a really great outcome just because of that. They like for you, of course, to try to put on weight because they know you're going to lose weight. And most people going into it are way too thin, and their body's just wasted away at this point. So we're very grateful that this was found early enough that you're still healthy, you're not skin and bones, and which is going to make for a much better outcome.
Yeah, which is crazy too, because it's actually I think the gastroparesis that was causing me to gain weight initially, because most everyone, if you look up, SMAS, it's like severe weight loss and just insane. They're like, you're throwing up everything, and I'm like, what? That's not my case. I'm gaining weight. Like I'm like cannot figure out why I'm gaining weight all of a sudden, and I'm just like, well, I'm almost 40. I guess this is what's happening. So, but then reading into it, also when you have the gastroparesis in your stomach, you can only eat so many things and it's digesting. A lot of those things are higher in carbs, like mashed potatoes and, less vegetables and less fiber. And it does cause weight gain. So which actually ended up being a benefit for me, even though it pretty much sucks, but a benefit for me to have that to where I'm not, like a lot of people with this, they're at the point where it's too far or it's gone too far and they can't keep anything down. And I'm extremely thankful that I'm not to that point, because it makes surgery a lot harder.
It does. So knowing that we were, going to possibly get a surgery date today, I have a cute little gift for you. For you to open.
Is it a stomach stuffed animal?
Could be.
Yes, it would be.
So amazing.
Oh my God, how did I know?
I know. Look at that. So
Is this my small intestine?
That's the small intestine.
Small intestine. Option number 2
is the stomach.
And my stomach. This is probably about the size of my stomach also.
It might be. It might be.
These are not your toys, Gus.
He's got there. Well, guys, I mean, thanks for being back on here today so that we can, get this journey out here because, even when people go to the doctor and you feel like something's wrong, but you don't get the answers that you're hoping for. And I just want people to understand that, if it's not making sense to you, if the doctors aren't seeing kind of what it is, it's okay to go see specialists and, go outside of your state, actually look outside of your state for, for different specialists to check those different things that are going on, in your body. So next month, whenever we talk to you, we hopefully will have a surgery date if we're not already in surgery by then. We look forward to continuing this health journey and see how you do afterwards.
Off we go.
Off we go. Thanks, guys. Thank you for tuning in today. Like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but it really helps my numbers out. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.